shall we make a start then? So on Monday I used the oh so cute robin along with the postage rectangles. So today I thought I'd use the extra large layered snowflakes and the nested stitch stars. Now, looking at the package, you wouldn't think these were XL, would you? But trust me, they are. I know Lisa got them out on Friday to show you, so I'm not going to bother doing that. But they are so useful, and they don't have to be snowflakes. You could use them as mandalas in different colours, totally away from Christmas. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love those. So those are the two that I'm using today. I'm making 4 cards, so I will go through the extra things that I'm using on the 4 as we get to each card. Okay, so that's what I'm using primarily. So if I put those to one side for now, and we'll go to card number 1. Now I've done all the die cutting because it's time consuming doing the die cutting, and I wouldn't be able to do 4 cards. So I thought if I do all the die cutting and put my pads where I need them and everything else, then I can just put 4 cards together. Because die cutting's die cutting, you all know how to die cut, don't you? And if you don't, then let me know, and I will die cut one for you. But let's just make a start. So the first card is, I think, a 7x7. And what I thought I would do, this piece here, I've just cut the snowflake into a piece of card because I wanted to use a stencil, but I wanted it to match everything else. Alright, so I cut it into a piece of card, and that's what I'm going to use first. So if I take everything else out so she can't see it, don't want to spoil the surprise, and just do my stenciling first. And I'm only using little parts of it, but I am going to stick with the same colours that I've cut my card in. And I've actually cut it in purple. So I don't want to go too heavy. I just want a light inking in the background through this piece that I've cut. Just make sure I've actually got some here. Okay, so it's literally a hint of a snowflake in the background. Okay, so I'm not going overly heavy. I haven't even re-inked the brush, to be honest. So there's my background. So my stenciling is going to match my snowflakes that I'm using on the base of the card. Alright, so I've cut my snowflakes and I've already glued them all together. So I'm using 3 of them because there are 4 in the pack. So there's the large one, next one down, and then the 2 smaller ones. Okay, so I'm using these 3. Right, I was going to use 4, but I've done something different for the middle of the card. So clever. So that's my first layer. Okay, now I've alternated the colours. So this is purple on Lisa's holographic card. Then this is holographic card on purple satin card, like so. And then back to purple on holographic. Which way around was it? That way. Purple on holographic, and then I'm going to put something totally different in the middle. Okay, so I've done all my pads already, just to save a little bit of time. And I don't need many, so I'm not using very many on here. So I'm going to put that in the middle. I was going to put it on, I was going to cut a square and put that down first, and I thought, no, don't really need it. Whoops, don't really need it. Let's just go with the snowflakes and make it just about the snowflakes, because they are gorgeous. So that's my second layer, and then we put the third layer on. Now when you use these dies, I know I've said this to you before with other die sets, look at your die set before you cut it out, and when you've cut it out, look at what falls out or what stays in the die when you've cut your main piece. Okay, so if you look at these and you look at some of the shapes, you'll see that there are sort of teardrop shapes that sit in the die, okay? Don't throw them away. Keep them, like I've kept mine here. They're all in a little lid here, okay? Keep them because they're so useful. Because what I then did was I cut myself a little circle. I used a punch, cut myself a little circle in purple satin card, and then I used the bits that fell out of my die to make a little flower. And all I did was just put a dollop of 3D glue gel on the bottom, and then sit these in the glue gel, lift them up slightly, and do the same all the way around. And then I've used one of Lisa's Super Sparkle gems, the silver and gold, the smallest one, just to put it in the middle, and then that's going to sit there. And I'm just going to put it on flat because it is quite a raised card anyway. So let's just pop that on the middle there. Now I was going to put the smallest snowflake in the middle, but to be honest, the flower more or less covered it, so I thought I'd leave that off, and I've got it for another project. But I think those little bits that you'd normally throw in the bin, they're just so useful. So don't throw them away. Think about how you can use them at some other point. So yeah, I did two. I did a smaller one as well, but mainly purples. And I've used a larger gem in the middle of that. But I can see me sitting here making lots of these little flowers in different colours because they're just so cute. So then I wanted my sentiment, so I've used the sentiments, the stickers from the Christmas is Coming collection, okay? And I've cut one in half because this one says, if kisses were snowflakes, comma, I'd send you a blizzard. Well, I didn't want the comma on it, so I've cut that off, and I've split it in two, and I'm going to put it so that it sort of balances my card. And I have 3D'd them, so I've put pads on the back. Just so that, because everything else is 3D'd, I thought we might as well 3D the sentiment as well. Just make sure it's a level. Okay, I think so. And then the bottom one as well. And all I've done is just stuck the sticker onto the same purple satin card, just to make that isn't straight actually, but I don't think I'm going to be able to take it off. I don't like wonky sentiments. It's better. Okay, so that's my first one, but it's just, you can imagine this in lots of different colours. I mean, I'd got to do a purple one, hadn't I? Because I just got to. So I thought we'll do the purple one first, and then we can just change it up quite a bit with other colours. Okay, so that's my first one. Really like that one. And then I thought I would do one with the stars. So I started off with a piece of the navy blue satin card, and I've put that through the Snowflake Flurry embossing folder. Okay, now I had a piece of silver mirror card, let me just move these bits, that I cut a star out of to use on a project, and I thought, well, it's daft wasting that card, so I also put that through the Snowflake Flurry embossing folder, and it is a tiny bit smaller than the navy blue, so I thought, well, I'll round the corners off and I'll just sit it on top of the navy blue. Okay, so I put my pads on the back. So, where did I wanted my star sort of a little bit cockeyed on the wonk, uneven. So I put my mirror card piece down, my holographic, and I love this. I just love the different effects you get, depending on how you hold it, where you hold it. I think it's just stunning card, stunning. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. So then I thought, well, that looks great, but the star looks a little bit, I don't know, a little bit flat. So I thought, I'd already cut this, so I thought what I would do is pop this in here and glue it down, it's going to be flat, but it'll just give an edge to that star. Now there is a right way to put this, so bear with while I just figure it out where it looks the best. So when you take your stars off your backing card, make sure you mark them so that they're all the same way up, which is what I didn't do. So now I'm struggling to make sure that I line it up properly. I think I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm gonna put my glue. I'm gonna use my teeny bottle of glue so that I don't get a lot of glue on here, because whilst I need it to stick, and obviously I'm sticking it onto satin card that's been embossed, so it's going to be, I need enough glue for it to actually stick in all the right places. So I'm going to pop it in there, and I'm going to push it down inside that star so that it just gives a little bit more of a frame to that snowflake bit. Okay, just make sure that sits in there properly. So it sort of lifts that edge of that snowflake. I haven't got it the right way around, I haven't got it in quite the right position, but you have got time to sort of mess around with it, because you're sticking it to satin card. It is a little bit more manoeuvrable because it's not going to dry as quickly as it will on a really matte finish card, okay? But I think that just lifts the edge of that star and it doesn't appear quite so flat, even though it's behind the embossed piece. Do you know what I mean? So then I thought, well, I only need a small sentiment because I don't want the sentiment on the outside, I want the sentiment in the middle. So I've used the, where's me? Because I've used these on 2 cards, so I've used these, the festive bold words, and I've just used this one on here, and I've used this one on one of the other cards, okay? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use 3D glue gel so that this is a little bit raised, because obviously everything else has got a raised element to it, and I didn't want to put this flat. So then my sentiment is just going in the middle of that star aperture, like so. How simple is that? But how fabulous does it look? I mean, it looks really quite an expensive card, and it's this fabulous holographic card. It's amazing. It really is. So that's card number 2. So I'll leave that one there. I think I can put that to one side now. I think we'll do this one. So that's my card base, and on here I have used this off the sentiments. I've used the knitted embossing folder, which was on TV last time Lisa was on, and I've also used the slimline inverted scallop frame, the one with the hello on it. I don't think there are any of these in stock, but I know a lot of you will have it. I just wanted a different sort of a frame to put on my card base. So this is my card base, and you can see I've already put the outer part of the frame on. Now I wanted to use the inner part, and I wanted to use it in the same colour, okay? So I cut it out, and all I was going to do was just sit it back in the middle. And then I thought, do you know what, actually I'll 3D the middle bit, because then it will look a little bit different and it'll lift it. So I've already put my pads on the back of my panel. Right, so this is going back in the middle here, and just all you need to do is just make sure that you've got it in the right place, but you will see some of the white round the edge. But you see how it makes it sort of look different, because it's not sitting flat with that frame, it's lifted it a bit, and it just looks a little bit different. So then I used the knitted embossing folder, and I've used the middle die in this set. So this square one here, this one, and I've just cut a piece of a white card and then popped it through the embossing folder. Now obviously this is longer than a 6x6, so all you need to do is make sure that you leave part of your card hanging out of your embossing folder and over the edge of your plates when you run it through your machine, and then you can move it and do the other side, because where it hangs over the edge it won't leave you a line, it won't crease your card. Okay, so again I've 3D'd this, and this is going to sit in the middle. Now obviously I've used the die, and it's going to give me a frame so I know exactly where I can put this. So just make sure I'm lining it up properly. Okay, so again I've cut the smaller two dies, and again I've sort of reversed the card colours. So I've used the beautiful turquoise green satin card on the holographic and reversed it for the smaller one. Okay, so this is going here, and then I've done two exactly the same, and this one is going here like so. Now I know this is in the middle because there are 7 scallops down here, so if I line that up with number 4, I know it's exactly in the middle. Okay, and the same the other side. And then all I want to do is just add a sentiment to that, so my sentiment is going in the middle. So I'm going to put my sentiment down first, and again I'm going to 3D it because everything else is 3D'd and it would look odd if I didn't. So that's going in the middle, and I want that in the middle of those snowflakes, in the middle of those points really. I just need to make sure it's straight, and then I can take my pads off the back of here. And you can see I've not used many, there's only a couple, so, and I can line it up with my scallops and know that it's straight. Okay, so that's that one, and this is the second one, and again line it up with the middle scallop on that side, and you'll know it's in the middle. I do love this colour. So that's number 3, but it is, I mean, it looks so different to the purple one, and yet I've used exactly the same dyes. You know, depending on what colour you're using, they'll look totally different. So this last one is inspired by the lovely Valerie, because I saw her card and I thought I really like that, and I'm going to do something similar because it's so clever. So put that to one side. Now you can see I've used the dotty acetate, and I have used red liner tape to adhere it to my card, but you're not going to see most of it, and where you can see it, if anybody mentions it, don't give them another handmade card because they don't deserve it. Right, let's just put that there out of the way, and then we can concentrate on this. So I've cut the dotty acetate, and I've taken the backing off, and I've adhered it to a 5x7 card. Okay, and then I've taken my white cardstock, and I've just inked around the edges, and I've used one of the SLIMLINE Essential stencils. I've used this one, and I've just stenciled some blue ink, and I literally used what ink was on the brush. So I think it's probably Surf's Up, because that's the one I tend to go to most. And all I've done is just ink through the stencil and ink the edges of the card just with what's left on the brush, so I haven't used any extra ink. Okay, so I've added my 2 pieces of card like so, and the way I worked out my gap was I literally used a ruler. All I did was use this ruler, and I put it across the middle of the card on the base of this one, so on the base of the 5x7, and just cut it where I just put a couple of pencil marks on it and just cut it along those lines, just to give me that gap in the middle. Okay, and I think that works. And again, I'm going to 3D this so that it lifts it away from that acetate a little bit, just because it looks, I think it looks more effective. Make sure it lines up with the edge. Okay, so there's your basis of your card. And then quite literally all I've done is cut some stars in the holographic card, and all I've done is put little pads on the back, and I've used the bold phrases and I've made it into a birthday card. And again with the sentiment, I've brushed some of Lisa's white texture card, and then I used the stencil, same stencil, on the top and just brushed through it again a bit heavier, so that there are actually bubbles on that sentiment. You're not that you can see them very well, but they are there. So I'm going to put this one down first, and then I can decide where I want the other little stars to go on the rest of the card. I'm going to struggle getting that bit off because I've covered it over with another pad. There we go. So I'm going to put that one upright because I want my sentiment to sit on top of it. So I want to put that level. And then these I can just dot around wherever I want. And I try not to put them so that they're all sitting the same way. I mean, I know a star shape is a star shape is a star shape, isn't it? But you'll be able to tell whether they're all the same way up. I'm not sort of just sticking to the card either where I put these. They just go in random places. So now I've just got to decide where to put the last one. So I'll put it down there. Put it there. Okay. And then I've already put my pads on the back of my sentiment. I cut the backing in white, and as I say, I inked the card with the same blue that I've inked on here so that it all ties in. And then my sentiment will just not sit there, it will sit in the middle on that middle star, like so. So you see, the stars don't have to be for Christmas, they really don't. So there you go, 4 cards, but I think you'll agree they are 2 very, very useful, very, very versatile die sets, and depending on what colours you use will look totally different. So, you know, enjoy them, have fun. They don't have to be for Christmas. Enjoy the rest of your week, have a fabulous weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye now.